Hello everybody and welcome to this commentary for a round of 16 match played in Montegrotto in January this year between myself, Richard Biddle and Airat Fatykhov. And here we go, kicking off. I open with a standard 3-2, nothing too unusual about that. And Airat starts to make the standard 2-1 play, but decides to hit correctly on his 4-point. But I respond with a fantastic double 4, which allows me to hit twice, pointing on him in my home board, and then bringing another checker down as a builder into my outfield. And he comes in with a 6-3. And I should really be thinking about doubling here, but look at me, I'm rolling, I'm not even thinking about it, and out come the dice. So that's frustrating. That's a blunder not to have doubled there. But I roll one of my market losing rolls with a 4-3, making my 5-point. But that's a great roll for Airat, 4-1, which stops me now really being in a position to double. I do have a good roll with that 6-3. It means I can make his bar point good solid asset from which to play on, but I'm now in a position where I couldn't double, and now he's hit me. So maybe not a bad thing, maybe it's a good thing I didn't double here, but double 2, fantastic roll for me, and it allows me to point on him on my 4-point. So I've now got a 4-point home board. He's up in the air, and really I should be looking at doubling in the next roll or two. And here I am after this 5-1. I choose not to double here. It's a double pass, so I choose not to double here because I think I could get a gammon if I could pick up that next checker. I failed to pick up that next checker. It's a bit of an awkward 6-5, but I'll play it like that. I'll really want to try and double him out if things don't go my way, 4-1. So I'm going to double him here, and I'm expecting him to drop. And he doesn't drop. He takes. It's a borderline pass, but it tells me a little bit about him, that can be quite aggressive with the cube, and I'll bear that in mind for later in the match. And I've got a 4-3 to play here, which really I should be quite aggressive with because he's got a blot in his outfield, and I should play the 4-3 all the way around, but I don't. I lift it off my bar point, which means I can't make that bar point later. And actually I get punished for that, and he hits me with a 4-2, covers, and suddenly I'm on the back foot again, having been in quite a strong position. The double 3s is okay, and that all makes sense. Now I've got 2 3s to play, and I play them off the midpoint. Actually, the better move here would have been to play them off the bar point, but I wanted to give myself some sort of connection between my loose checker and those back 2 checkers. I'm hit again now. He's pointed on me, and double 1s. Well, that's a great roll because that allows me to make the 3-point of my board and come in. So in a strong position, I just really need to get that back checker out from here. Now here Airat's thinking, he's got a choice here between playing safe, playing 11-4, sorry, 11 to, yeah, playing 11-4, playing, sorry, what is it, 18, yeah, 11-4, not safe, but slightly more aggressively. Or hitting loose on the ace point. Playing 11-4, he's filling a point that he most wants to make. Hitting me loose on the 5-point, on the ace point, isn't really a point he wants to make. But he wants to take. He wants the tempo move to take half the roll away from me. He's having a good long think about this, and I think he must be thinking, but. Yeah, yeah, he's gone for hitting on the ace point and cleaning up his outer board. I dance, so if he can get a back checker out now with a 6, he's in good shape. double four. Right, well, he's still got his back checkers stuck. He's looking at making the barrel. That looks quite good and begins to sort of counter the prime that I've got. But now he's seen that he can, he can cover his ace point and avoid leaving me a direct shot at least and duplicating my twos. I come in with the 4 and I must come out with a 6, yeah, leaving him just ones to hit me. So I'm back in good shape here. Oh, I thought a 1 was coming out there. He fails to hit. And actually it's an ugly tidy up. I think he's just got to play it in. Yeah, 9-3, not great, not beautiful. 6-5, I really don't want to take any risks here, so just play it all the way in. And 5-4 again. He can't take any risks, my board's too strong, so he's going to end up clearing his 8 point. Which is the correct play. He knows he can't leave me a shot here. It's just not worth it. I mean, if he leaves me a shot, it could be gammonish. So just not worth it. Just take your medicine, bring your checkers home safely and try and avoid the gammon. 5-3, again, I could be cheeky and risky, but there's no need to overplay this position. Just leave him an indirect shot. He's got a blot in his home board. And again, he can't afford to leave me a shot, so he's going to sort of crunch his home board but maintain some structure, so he could actually rebuild a 5-point board again quite easily if I happen to leave him a shot. I'm not going to leave him anything. I'm just going to bring another builder in, so if he does try and escape a back checker, I can attack the lone man. And there he is. He's left me a shot. Here's a chance to boost my gammon chances. I failed to hit. I don't mind leaving 2 blots in the outer field because of the number of blots he's got in his home board and around. So only double 6 would be quite awkward if he rolled that for me. In fact, double 6 would be horrible for me. But he doesn't. He rolls 3-1. He makes a 5-point board. He's going to leave that one outside, I think, because he doesn't want to be forced out. So he wants to keep a 6, a spare 6. He does that. And 6-5. I want him to crunch here, so that's why I make that bar point. But I could have just played them out, so forcing him out with 6s. But 3-1, just bring him in safely here. And now I've got some gammon chances, so he can't move. I just want to peel him off. He's got a gap on his 6-point board. Now, you see, this is... we're playing dice on checkers here, and I've seen it cause more problems than not between different nationalities. Things got lost in translation between him and I, and I've called one of the Italian players over to try and explain to him that we're playing dice on checkers. Okay, everybody's happy now, we understand. I peel off the 6 and I'll peel off the 4 as well because I'm going for the gammon. He's got a gap on his 6 points, so I can afford to just take a little risk here to try and win the gammon. All standard bearing off stuff. He's now got to go with 1. And double 3s here. Now I'd love to be able to maximise the number I can take off, but I can only take 1 off, and I've got 1, 2, 3 off. So I'd either like to take 2 off or none off. That makes the difference. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting him on the bar. He may dance, or if he comes on, he may come on with a 6, and therefore stop being a danger to him. My gammon chances are pretty much gone now. We're just going to roll this out and see here. Now I've got double 1. I've got 1 to play here, and what I do here is I fill the non-playable gaps. Now, if you've got a gap on the 4 point, it's always a good idea to fill the gap on the 4 point. Even though I've got so many stacked up on my 2 point and could fill the 1 point, I'm better off filling the what I call the non-playable gap. And he gets the 4-1. So there's a small gammon chance here, worth playing for. The 1 sort of kills it. So just seeing this one out, and it looks like I'm going to take an early 2-0 lead, unless I get a miracle throw here now. 5-4. Well, okay, I can. If he fails to come in and I finish with a double, I could pick up 4 points. There he is, 6-2. So is the double going to come? Come on, baby. No. Okay. Well, I'm happy with the 2 points. He's a solid player. He started playing this first game at a very strong level. And in fact, with hindsight, I can tell you he played that game at 1.31. Oh, he's off on a break. Answering the phone call, fair enough. So yeah, I'm happy with that start. A bit frustrated. I would have missed that double, playing too quickly. Quite often that can happen when you're sitting down to play in foreign environments when you're not quite used to it. And they'd asked me to play on a streamed match, probably some nerves kicking in, and was playing too fast. Let's see if for the rest of the match I can slow down a bit. You've got plenty of time. Slow down a bit and think more about the doubles and the market losers specifically. And there's wide open positions. I tend to, where I think if I see lots of gaps in my bearing in, I don't think I have as many market losers as I actually do. And certainly if I'd made my 5 point with that previous doubling decision, I should have doubled. So hoping my opponent comes back soon. For those of you that haven't been to Montegrotto, I really recommend it as a tournament venue. In fact, I'm more excited about the thermal pools than I am about the backgammon. And certainly when you get knocked out of a tournament, you can console yourself by bobbing around in a nice thermal pool, naturally heated from the earth and full of minerals and all sorts of good things. Okay, my opponent is back. Let's see what he's going to do. (4-2), that's a nice start, I like that. And, wow, 3-1, okay, well. (6-2), I think it's pretty standard to come out and down. He's got the better home board than me, so hopefully I can avoid the hit. No, he hits, and he's going to hit me twice here. So even though he hasn't quite got enough checkers in the zone, it's certainly right to go for the blitz, as he's doing here. The double 3 saves my skin, and I quite like making my 5 point here, making the rack, as it's called, good solid asset. And if he makes his bar point, which maybe he won't here, maybe he won't make his bar point, he'll probably come up to his 3 point, yeah. And this sort of stymies my rack and makes those checkers on the 6 point a little surplus to requirement. So yeah, I'm going to block his sixes with that. I mean, he's got a good six on the other side of the board, but just spreading my checkers around. He doesn't make that bar point now, and it looks like he's now considering making his 4 point, which would probably be the right play. Yeah, he leaves me a shot, but he's also got the rack if I fail to hit, and he can very quickly replicate the position I've got on my side of the board. So let's see, can I hit him with a dodgy dice on checker 4-1. I don't like that rule, but they've adopted it all in Italy, and I think sometimes it causes more problems than it doesn't. So 5-4, he dances. Good, I'm thinking about the double. That's what I want to see. Where am I in the race? I'm only slightly ahead. I don't double, okay. And in fact, it would have been right to double. It would have been a double take. Again, he dances. And I've got the choice of a double here. Now, what I'm also thinking is that he took late in the first game. So am I thinking here, I didn't double, it would have been correct to double, that he might still take. It was actually a double pass, so I missed the opportunity to take a point. But I probably thought he could still take further down the line. I wanted to wait for him to come on and give him more of a decision. So he comes on with a 2, covers with a 5, yeah. So now, do I think about the double? I probably want to make that loose checker safe. Double 5s is a big roll. Double 5 is a big roll. So let's see, let's get this right. Yeah, let's play 2 down to the 8 point, and then probably the next one to the 3, yeah. So have I missed my market, or am I right in thinking that he will take late? 6-4s shifts some wood for him. He is now, he's 37 pips behind, 37 pips behind, and I think he's got to drop this if I double this. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. It's an easy double. And maybe I'm trying to fool him into thinking it's a take, but I'm pretty sure it's an easy double. And why am I spending so long thinking about it? I'm probably doing there's no point doing a pip count at this stage. I know I'm so far ahead. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm looking to see whether I've got how many bad rolls I have. So something like 6-4 works. 6-5 is a little tricky, but overcomes the cube. Okay, and he snatches it up, and it was actually a pass. So having read him in the first round, first game as being late on taking, that's helped me in this game. I've got him to take a cube that he shouldn't have taken. And now it's just a straight race, provided I can bear in safely. I mean, his timing isn't brilliant, so you can't really afford to roll big numbers while I'm trapping him in. And here again, I'm looking to see what play gives me the fewest bad rolls next time. And I could have played 9-8, 9-6. But there's not much in it between that and this one. I go with this one, probably because it's the first one I look at. Right, well, he's now forced to race with those. Not coming out would not have been an option. So now I've just got to contain that back checker, even though I am still quite far ahead in the race. And again, I've got to play this and make sure that I don't give myself any bad rolls next time. That helps his timing. He's now got a 6-point prime, so I really got to be quite careful. And I get a pair of deuces coming out. Now, I don't know at this stage whether I've done a count, but certainly I am far enough ahead that I can afford to stack, but I don't think I do here. So the correct play here is to stack them, play 8-6 twice and 7-5 twice. But yeah, so I'm doing a count here. I'm looking how far ahead I am, and I'm 22 pips ahead. So really I should be stacking here and just playing safe, but I'm somehow seduced by my 5-point prime and thinking, well, what else can I do? Am I thinking there are gammons here if I don't stack, and maybe try and hit or do something? But I mean, there's not a huge number of gammons here, so I play that roll. But you see that make things awkward for that one I need to clear. Okay, well, he's now got a 6-point board. The race is now a lot closer, and so I do have to stop him, and that's a great roll, 6-1. So that only leaves him a 6-2 from the bar, or 6-3, just failed. So now let's just bring it home. 5-1, let's spread those builders. I'm far enough ahead of race in the race that I don't need to worry about taking any off yet. I'd really like to make that 2-point. So that move gives me the best chance of doing that because I've got 4 builders acting on it, and out pops the 2-1, which is a perfect way to make the board. And now let's just small gammon chances here, but really I'm playing just to bear off safely. So I won't even bother taking any off here, just spread them around, and I want to bear off as safely as I can. 2-1. So I'm not going to clear the 6-point because that does leave 6 5s. So let's just get one checker off. I only need to take one checker off to begin with, and then 4-2, just clear from the rear. Leaves me bad big doubles, but he might come in with a 6. Okay, so just got to avoid the big doubles here. Well, suddenly gammon chances are there if he keeps on dancing like this. Okay, out he comes. So in both these first 2 games, even though my doubling hasn't been impeccable or perfect, and in some cases quite poor, I have managed to get the double in and go on and win the 2 points. So even though you don't always get it right as far as XG is concerned, as long as you get the points, that's probably what's more important. Well, to most of us. Okay, so that's a concession, and I go 4-0 up. And again, another strong game from Airat. He played at 3.01, I played at 3.11. So apart from my failure to double in the first game, we're playing okay. And then we move on to game 3. (5-4) standard opening. And a great roll. Perfect. Double 3s. Right, so already I should be thinking about the double next roll if things aren't great for him. He comes in with a 1 and 3. Do I think about the double? Not really. So down with the 5 is obvious. Now XG likes me to come up with a split with the 2, but I have an aversion to doing that, so I come down with the 2, and he rolls a 3-2. So if I'd split, he probably would have double hit. So I always feel justified by doing that, even though it's very, very wrong. And double 1 here. And again, my aversion to splitting from two from the back is evident, giving me another error according to XG. And now I should really be thinking about using the cube at some of this stage. There's a hit. So now I'm thinking, God, do I play on for the gammon here? He hits me. Okay, I'm in the air. I'll double this. And off he goes again. I don't know what he's going off for. I think he's not happy with the dice. I think he thinks they're my dice and he wants them changed. I did try and point out to him that they're the dice given to us by the organisers for the streaming. The black and white seems to work best, but he's not happy with it. And you can see him in the background complaining that the dice are rigged, obviously, because I'm winning 5-0. And I've been very lucky so far. So he has every right to think that perhaps the dice are rigged, because nobody can be as lucky as I've just been. Okay, he's back. Let's see. Off we go again. I'm 5-0 up, and I open with a 5-3. Happy with that. Okay, he's gone into attack mode, 3-2 down. Now, when your opponent has filled his outfield with builders, loose blots, I don't do it here, but quite often it's a good idea to slot on the 5 point, because you can't use those outer builders and hit me at the same time. I didn't do it this time, but quite often that's a move I like to make. But as he's developed his home board, I've got a choice here between making my bar point or his 3 point. It's about level in the race, but I think I need to anchor up here because A, that only leaves 1 blot on the whole board for me, and 2, as opposed to 3, if I make the bar point. And I'll be able, I can still make the bar point, and actually I can still make more home board points. So this is just a bit of insurance. He's now running with a 6-5. So now we're in a sort of I've got to try and contain him, and I get a great double 2s. So I just play the move that feels most natural. I play this quite quickly, but actually I should have come down with 2 from the 13 point, and that invariably is the right play on XG, and in fact the move I made was a blunder. So surprisingly, that move turned out as a blunder, and I should have just played 6-4 twice and 13-11 twice. But the reason why, if you look at my position now, I'm stripped, so I've got very little flexibility, whereas the other play would have given me more flexibility. 3-1, you see now it's ugly. I don't know what to do. I mean, probably I'm going to play from the 9 point here, but I could, because he's got a blot in his home board, I could have been more aggressive and perhaps played 13-10, 9-8. 2-1. Okay, he's now made the rack. This is a little awkward. I'm 3-1. That's great. That's great. So if I can just try and catch him, keep him from escaping, I've got a game here. Six, 4. Oh. Okay, so my first thought with this roll was that bring 2 down from the 13 point, play 13 to 6, then 13 to 7, 13 to 9. But I didn't have the guts to do it, so my play was wrong. As it is, I'm very fortunate that he then rolled double six, which he plays wrong himself. He should have come out to my to the bar point. So he's now stuck. He's still stuck there. But now he does escape. Unless I can hit this, I'm in really bad shape. I don't hit. I think about coming out, running to the midpoint, but that's always the wrong, well, invariably it's the wrong play. So I just play safe. I think I'm going to see the cube in a minute. Makes no difference how I play the three. Yeah, I'm going to see the cube, and I'm way behind in the race here, so there's no way I can take. If his bar point was free, I might be in a position to take, because I'd be able to play double six, double fours, all right. But I think in this position, stuck behind a 5-point prime, he's got some spare checkers. I will be dropping when he eventually passes that cube across. So surprised he's taking so long to think about this. I mean, he's a massive favourite to win the game. There's nothing there for me, so I'm going to drop that. So 5-1, Airat gets the scoreboard turning. But not a great game played by us, a few blunders by both of us. As we move on to game 5. And the standard 4-1 opening play from me. No need to do anything silly. Right, double ones makes the 5-point. And I play a very weak play here. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be safetying things up, and he punishes me. Right, so I've got a 6 to play here, and I choose to play off my midpoint. So it means that all my checkers are in play. All my checkers are doing something. If I didn't play off the midpoint, and let's say played from the back, I'd have a checker on the midpoint that's not doing anything. So this way, I like this play, that all my checkers have got a function. He really, I mean, it's great that he can make that midpoint, but I guess he was really hoping to be able to hit or do something more constructive with that double 2. And so I now have to try and contain his back checker, the 4-3. Well, I can make another homeboard point, which I do. And 5-1. So he's now sneaking up, looking out, knowing that any 6 can escape. And I'm behind in the race, and I make a passive play here. But he's only got 9 checkers in the zone, so I should be prepared to take more of a risk with the back guys. But I play that, which is really weak. I should have actually played 9 to 6, 23 to 22, and spread the checkers round. So that was too passive, and he's out with a 6-2. So the hits are obvious here, and again, following the same theme as the last play, I play too passively here by lifting. That's right, I lift 10 to 9, when again I should be playing 22 to 23 and spreading those back checkers. He's underpowered in his home board. He's not got enough ammunition, so I should have taken advantage of that, and I didn't. And actually, so weak was my play there that he should have doubled me, but he didn't, thankfully. at last I get the message and bring one of my checkers up to the edge of the prime, giving me 4s, 5s and 6s to escape. He knows he's got to bring his back checker up to the edge of the prime, so he's got 6s to escape. So rather than playing what would appear to be the natural 13-10, he's done that. And again, should have doubled me, but failed to do so. And 4-1, that works. So that means I can now make his 3-point and just bring another builder in. Giving me a little outside chance here, and off he goes with a 6-2. (5-4), that really works for me. That makes his bar point. So I'm still behind in the race, but I'm now putting pressure on his checkers as they come home. Now this is an oddity. He started to roll there and rolled a cocked dice, so now he's thinking about doubling, which the rules state he shouldn't be allowed to double because he's already gone to roll the dice. I don't know what I would have done if he had doubled. He doesn't double, but if he had doubled, I don't know whether I might have called for a tournament ruling. I mean, we would have had to watch back the video just to prove that. But yeah, just so you all know this, that if you've rolled the dice, you've rolled the cocked dice, you can't then go on and decide whether you want to double or not. So I don't mind this. He's eating up plenty of time and he doesn't double. But his safety is his checkers. And I live on 3-1. So let's just bring the builders in. Let's slot outside, just in case I have to hit now. And 4-3. Okay. Now I'm feeling pressure on that 3-point, and I probably need to get that back guy out. Double ones doesn't do it, but I can make a point. In fact, I can make a 6-point prime. So that's he's not going to be hitting me loose. So 3-1, yeah, just again, I'm feeling the pressure. I need to get that guy out. And 3-2 doesn't do it, so I bring 2 checkers in. 5-point board, good spread. He now has a 6-5. He's not going to hit me, but the race is against me. I need to get that checker out. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to make my 2-point. I'm make him safe and start building a board. I've now got a spare checker to play if I roll a big number from the 18-point without crunching my board, which is handy. And 5-1, okay. Continue to improve the board. He's got to clear those midpoint checkers. He's now thinking about the double. Now, he's only 9 pips ahead. I don't know whether this would be a double. I don't know whether I'd certainly take it. I'd snatch it up if he does double me, just on the racing chances alone. No, he's not going to double me. But he rolls a good number just to finish making up his board. And I roll a good number, I suppose. Keeping things slow. I don't want to be rushing too much. I don't want my back checkers suddenly become a liability as I try and bring them home. There's the big number that I can play without crunching. And now the race is beginning, well, still behind. But double ones is good for him. That means he can bring his checkers home. 5-3, okay, I'm going to make my home board here. So, really it's down to the race here, and we're about level on pips. The actual count is I'm on 83 and he's on 84, so I'm actually slightly ahead, but he's on roll, so it's not a double here. Not least because he could still leave me a blot, and he's not got enough in the race. So he shouldn't really be thinking about doubling. I mean, I'm guessing he's done a count or is in the process of doing a count. I look like I already know the count. Otherwise you'd see me twitching around trying to figure it all out. He's doing the count now at last. So I think once he's done the count, he will know that this isn't a double. But he doubles me. I snatch it up. I've obviously done the count already, and I guess I'll be quite happy with that. Okay, so I can't run clearly yet. So I'm just going to clear points. I'm doing a running pip count now, which is why you saw me sort of look away into the middle distance to try and keep a score, because I'm looking to be able to ship the cube back at some stage, because the cube is could be quite valuable. Double four is fantastic. And all the way along I'm doing a running count. Now, over the board in this position, I calculated that my winning chances were about 57%, which actually, and having analysed it, it was sorry, I said 57%, I thought. It was actually nearer 60%, but still nowhere near enough to double. If I throw the cube to him at 4, he can then throw it back to me quite easily on 8. So I correctly don't double here and look to just try and take 2 points from this. So 6-4, so it's I'm suspecting there may be a few more doubling decisions in this game, just from the way the checkers are off. If I mean, that wastage that I appear to have may actually come in and help me. And he's appearing, gaps are appearing in his home board that he can't take off every time. And I seem to be rolling efficiently. Now I seem to have lost the picture here. Here we go. Right. Right, so I'm left with another doubling decision here, and I only know that he's got a very low take point, and so I'll start off by working out my chances, and I use the eyesights method, so that's what I'll be doing at the moment, calculating my game-winning chances, and in this position I calculated them as being about 80%, and in actuality XG tells me they're 77.42%, so I wasn't that far off, maybe overestimating it. And my opponent's take point I calculated as being about 15-16%. XG tells me that it's 14.63, so again I wasn't that far off doing these calculations over the board. The correct answer here is a redouble take, but I just didn't feel comfortable with it. I knew it was borderline, or it was going to be close to being a double, but I'm not sure that I had the guts to do this. So I'm calculating out here. I'm working out my match equities, as you see me lean back from the table. And I can be a bit lazy here. Sometimes I only work out my opponent's take point, which is what I did in this position. I should have taken more time to calculate my doubling point, the point at which I should be doubling. But by that stage, having done the race calculations and my opponent's take point calculations, my brain starts hurting and I need a drink. Thankfully, I've still got plenty of time on the clock. Can I really be bothered to work out my doubling point, or shall I just roll? Well, what do we do? I could be off in 4 rolls. My opponent could be off in 4 rolls. Yeah, I've now just worked out what happens if the cube comes back to me on 8. Yeah, you see, I'm going through the motions. I think the fact that I could see the cube on 8 scares me off, and I roll. Double twos, great roll, but I probably missed my opportunity to get a double take in. But you know what? I don't mind. I just wanted to take the points here, go 7-1 up. Gives me a commanding lead in the race. I haven't had to risk the whole match on this one position. I go through the motions of calculating it. I calculated at this stage that I had 87% game-winning chances. XG tells me it's 92.65. So sometimes my methodology underestimates the leading player's chances. So come on, you've got to be sure this has got to be a double. So XG tells me my doubling point at this position is about 80%. I've calculated over the board that I've got about 87% winning chances. So over goes the cube, and it's a pass, an easy pass for the opponent. So I go 7-1 in the lead. And he opens with an attacking 4-3. And again, this is another example. I've come up with the one, I've split the one where I could slot again on my 5 point, because he's got his outfield flooded with builders, and he can't do 2 things at once. He can't hit me on the outfield, hit me on the bar point, and use those outfield checkers. So again, twice I've failed to do that. Yeah, it's something I try and remind myself to do when we play. He got that 3-1 very wrong. He should have just made the 5 point. But there'll be no complaints from this side of the table. And 3-2. Okay, time to anchor up. He's got a prime developing in front of me, so anchoring up is the right thing to do. The 5-3, the 4-2. He rolls. He comes up, makes his prime, and then I roll a 5-3, which is thank you very much. He doesn't want to break his 4 prime in front of me. He doesn't want to leave me any more blots, so I'm guessing he's going to play. Yeah, okay. So it focuses my mind on what's happening in my underpowered home board. Double 5s. Well, My back checkers are stuck. I have to cut down the number of shots on that. Bring the checker down and then down to that. XG tells me I should have made my ace point there, but it's only an error. Okay, he's given me a one to hit, but I have got a block in my home board, so I may not immediately take it. 6-3, right. Well, I'm now going to duplicate his ones, because I can make my 4 point by playing from the midpoint, and I duplicate his ones. Just checking to see whether there's anything else I can play instead. Can't see it. And I want to do something useful in this move. The race is about level. So if I keep my keep that 4 point there, I've got every chance in this. He's had a quick think about the double. I think he wants to safety that block before he does that. Double fives allows him to make that prime so that I can't escape with sixes. One still hit, but you know, he's got a 5 point prime there now, and you can see I'm beginning to look a bit fed up. The dice have stopped working well for me. And very much in this game, I have relied on the dice to get me to the scoreline that I'm enjoying. Right, 4-2. So need to safety that checker on the midpoint. And I just choose to spread all my checkers. XG doesn't like it too much, but I've just spread my checkers. I sort of knew I was going to get the doubling cube at this stage, but I wanted to spread my checkers for the bear off. I don't know whether I'm going to get a shot, but I'm looking at this very much from the race perspective as I'm sitting on his 4 point, and he's going to have to break his prime. So I'm doing a count here, and the count is going to tell me that I'm 3 pips ahead before my opponent's roll. So it's pretty much level in the race, and he's going to have to break that prime in front of me. So I'm going to be quite happy to take this. In fact, I'm going to be delighted because it's actually tells me it's a no double. I think it's a fair double because a lot of players wouldn't be happy taking this, but I've taken that. I'm glad I got that right. Didn't get spooked. He's able to safety that, so I'm now stuck behind a 5 point prime. I want to bring my checkers in, ready for a good bear off. And also, in case I get the shot, I do want to have an intimidating board, which I've been able to build there with a 6-3. He just brings them in safe. He'll be making sure that there's no bad numbers for him next time. Now that's a little bit fast for my liking. So the last thing I want, I keep the spare 6 outside. The last thing I want is to be forced off his 4 point because I roll a 6. That's it, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Was that a misplay or a 2-1? Did I roll a 2-1 there? 8, 6, 3, 1 there, that's right. So now I want to avoid the 6s, I do. I crunch my board, but I don't mind that because I'm still looking at the race here. 6-5, well that's a shame. I was hoping he'd crunch his board a little bit more. 5-1, okay. Still got a 5 point board if I get the shot. 6-4, well he's going to have to play from the 8 point. Okay, I've got some running chances here. The double 6 is fantastic. I think that's running enough. And that's going to leave me with a cube decision. Right. So very similar to last time. I know he's got a low take point. I'm not going to do this. Incorrectly, of course. I should have doubled. And he would have passed, in fact. But I've allowed him to get back in. Double threes is a great roll for him, which means that now it's a no redouble for me. So I just clear my checkers off. Do I think about the double? No, I'm just quite happy to hold on to that 2 cube and maybe use it later on, just in case. Okay, so he hits one of his gaps. I now got to think about the cube. Okay, so let's have a little think here. I'm looking at my wastage. He's got one more checker off than me. The actual raw pip count is 32 to me, 51 to him, but you know, I've got I've got wasted checkers on my ace point. I've got a gap on my 6 point, so if I roll sixes, it's inefficient. I'll be looking at the race, and then I'll start looking at match equities. And I know he's got a low take point. I really only want to double him if I double him out. I don't want him doubling. I don't want to be doubling him and then have him throw the cube back at me, which he'd have an automatic double. The cube would come back to me on 8. You know, I could go 9-7 down if this doesn't go well for me and I've thrown the cube across. So I calculated over the board that my game-winning chances were 95%. XG tells me they were 91%, so I'm a big 4 percentage points out there. But I know he's got a low take point, and I know that 95% probably will be enough. He's thinking about it. He hates to go 9-1 down. He's realised that if he takes the cube and throws it back, he can go back to he can get to 2 away, 4 away, you know, which isn't a bad place to be. So he's having a good think about it. But his game-winning chances here are just short of 9%, just shy of 9%, so not enough to take. But he is thinking about it. But I really wanted to double him, redouble him, I should say, where he drops the cube. So this is what I'm hoping now. I really don't want him to take this. I don't want to have to play this position out. I'm off in 6 rolls. He's off in 6 rolls. I'm glad he drops. I'll take that. Thank you very much. So 9-1 up. I've been very lucky in the game so far. I don't dispute that. So I just need to get another 2 points, push this match over the line. So he's gone in full gammon go mode. He's way behind in the match, and that's the 4-1 you tend to play. Now I played this too quickly. Should I have thought about maybe playing 6-4, 6-4? Certainly XG tells me that's what I should have done. But anyway, I've hit 2, and he's now got 4 checkers in the region of my home board. I'm able to make an outfield board, but that 5-4 is great for him. That gives him an anchor. So I'm now facing a 5-1 back game. It's awkward. And it kills any gammon chances I had, which would have seen me win the match. So I'm just going to play safe and sensible here, creep that up a bit, maybe get a nice running number with that next time. But he hits me with a 5-3, so it's not all plain sailing. Again, I've got to come in with a 5, look for the neatest, safest 3. I'm way ahead in the race here, so I just want to try and tiptoe everybody home. He's hit me, he's attacking, he's got some builders for his 5 point. Can I hit the 5 point? I can't hit the 5 point, but I've just got to come up to try and escape. So I've got to put all his focus on this end of the field, that side of the board. He's going to hit me here because he just needs to stop me playing, bring another builder down, and now his home board, even though not fully developed, could develop very quickly. The 4-1 helps, and I come up looking ready to escape at the first opportunity. He probably could have been a bit more imaginative with his builders there and come in on the 5 point and played 8-6. 4-2. Well, I'm going to make a home board point here, because if it's not immediately handy, it will come in handy at some stage. But that double 6 shifts some wood, and all of a sudden I'm playing a 5-7 backgammon, which I don't know is a good thing or a bad thing. And he's also got that sort of goalkeeper lurking at the back. So yeah, this is a tough position. Not the game I wanted as I tried to push this match over the line. He's now considering whether to make his bar point or not. I guess the other option would be playing out from the my bar point to the 14, but he's gone for the structure, because that's, I guess, what looks and feels the best. Right, so if I come out with a 5, where is my 3? I don't have a good 3. Awkward. I could make my 3 point, but that's a lot of hits. Wow. I can't even hit loose. 10-2, so I'm going to come out with a 5 and slot with the 3, so giving him the fewest number of shots. He's thinking about the double. His doubling point is quite low here. I mean, XG tells me at this match score in this position, his doubling point is 44%. So he can double as underdog. So it's good that he's thinking about it. He hits me, but it's got a terrible 5 to play. All the other 5s are blocked. Maybe he should play off the bar point. Yeah, no, I think he should have played off my bar point, because putting that checker on the 3 point is pretty much killing it. Right, I come in with a 1. 6 to play. Well, just play to my 4 point and see if I can limp out. Now again, he's thinking about the double. This is good. It's correct that he's thinking about the double. Not quite a double yet. Because his position won't change markedly with all the checkers on my 5 and 7 points. Nothing's going to change too much, so he can afford to play on. 6-2 hits outside. Didn't even think about hitting on the inside. But probably right to do the hit that he did. 5 and 3. Okay, so we're now into a sort of blot hitting contest. We've both got 2 points on our home board. He's got an anchor, so he may well end up in better shape than I am on this. So he's thinking about the cube. Okay, he's thinking about the cube. But correct not to double. So he comes in with a 5, hits with a 4. I really need to roll something good here, great, so I can anchor up. That helps me. And yeah, it'd be incorrect to hit in the outfield. This gives me a little bit of a foothold in a game that's been moving away from me. He makes his 10 points. So he's developing a prime in front of my anchor. Certainly a more effective prime than I've got at the moment, a 2-1. Right, again, wrong to hit. I think I just play this play this up with a view to trying to escape that. Double fours. So this is one of those classic situations where you see a great hit with the double four and you play it before looking at the whole move. Okay, he's offered me the cube after my dancing double six. He's got two gaps on his bearing, so he's got gaps on his 8 and 9 point. I don't know why he's taking a picture of his dice there. He's got maybe saving them for posterity. He hasn't had many double sixes, who knows. So that's why I took, because he had a gap, and it's right to take. If he had a gap on his 8 and 9 points, so I thought that justified the take, provided I come in the very near future. And of course I have failed to come in. And there you go, I fail again. So what may well have been a take, had I come in quickly, is now turning into a little bit of a disaster as the game slips away from me. This is pretty, I don't know what else he's thinking about, spreading them. Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, just makes sense to play safe here. Let's see if I can come on now. No, another dance. Okay, so he's now bringing his checkers home, and he is way ahead in the race. I need to get that checker on quickly to give myself a chance of... Okay, so there's a small chance of if I can come in and hit, but another dance. Right, this is not looking too good for me. Okay, no one blocked, still gaps on the 8 and 9 point. Great, I'm in, but I can't risk putting him on the 2 point, so I come in on the 5 point, bring another builder down. So my chance now is him trying to... Oh, he rolls a 6-3. Okay, that's chances out the window. Okay, so let's just try and save the gammon with a 2-1. Efficiency, so probably play 8 to 6 and 11, 13 to 12. I've just got to bring those checkers in as quickly as I can. I've got very little shot equity, so really I'm looking at 4-1, another poor roll. Okay, I thought about bringing that one in, but I thought, no, let's get a crossover at the top of the board and just spread those checkers just in case I do get a shot. 6, okay, I'm forcing him to play carefully. That buys me a little bit more time. 2-1, come on, I'm not doing very well here. Okay, so I slot the 5 point. I've got a crossover, I've slotted the 5 point. I've done two slightly good things with a lousy roll. 6-5, okay. I'm now really going to think about just bringing checkers in efficiently. And I play, yeah. I'm sure I'm not even going to waste it. Okay, yeah, so two very efficient crossovers. And 3-1, he'll take 2 off. Okay, I should be safe from the gammon here. Double 3s, okay, that helps. So efficient, bring one in, make the 5 point, and then slot against the bar point, just in case I need to make it later. 6-2, he's, okay, so he's leaving me 6-5. That was the correct play. Right, 5. Okay, so I made a misplay there, but interesting. So I've made a misplay, but he's picked up my dice. So he's condoned my play. He's picked up my dice. I go for the camera to look at it, but I'm not happy about having to do that because it messes up my recording. And then I think, you know what, I'm not happy with this. You've picked up my dice, and by picking up my dice, you've condoned the play. I've hit the clock and you picked up my dice. So I'm going to call the tournament director over here. I'm not aware at this stage that I've misplayed it. As far as I could see, I rolled 5-2, which is why I played the 5-2. Now, as a tournament director, if I was called to make a ruling on this, I'd say, well, I'm sorry to this other guy, you've picked up his dice, you've condoned his move. So I've asked for a tournament director to come over, and this is what we're sitting there waiting for. Along comes Alfonso, lovely Alfonso, great director of the Italian Backgammon Federation, and I explained the situation to him. Of course, here we go, back and forth. I did this, no, you did that, no, I did this, I did that. All right, let's have a look at the video. I really don't want to have to do it on the phone. I suggest we look at YouTube. He says that's not possible, so down comes the phone and I have to try and navigate to where it is with my fat fingers on the phone. I plead once again, I don't want to have to look for this on my phone. Alfonso's not having it, so while we're doing this, big plug for the CNB and all the great players that play there. I travel over from England and play in all the Italian tournaments. Why? Because they're the best tournaments. In my opinion, there's no better country to be knocked out of a tournament than Italy. And I would encourage anybody who's watching this that's not been to any of the Italian tournaments, you should certainly think about going along to one or two of them, or more of them, or all of them, as I do. Alfonso and Cesare do a great job in running it. Gian Lazario Sana, whose channel you are watching, is a great contributor to the Italian backgammon cause. And as we watch this now, we're slowly navigating to the bit that will show whether, on my phone, you can see it just at the bottom of the screen, my phone, that we're seeing. One of the things that's showing up on this video that I'm showing Alfonso is that Airat is very quick at picking up my dice and will often pick up my dice before I've even hit the clock, and you'll see him shortly at the end of this explain to him that he can't be picking up my dice before I hit the clock. And it was something he was doing more and more of towards the end of this match. And there you can see at the bottom of the screen the video of the match on my phone. Incidentally, at the end of this weekend, my phone camera died. I'd like to think that messing around with it now didn't play a part in that. And here we go. Have we got it? Not yet. And when the selfie camera on your phone dies, let me tell you, it can be rather distressing because you don't realise that all your banking apps use facial recognition. So for the last week and a half, I've not been able to access any of my banking, which is tricky. So don't break the selfie phone on your camera, not least because you can't video any more matches. As it turned out, that whether I played 5-1 or 5-2 made little difference to the position. Very little difference in any equity. But as a matter of, the reason why I raised it as a matter of principle is that he hit my clock. I mean, he picked up my dice, which means he condoned the move. So all of this is happening while we were in the middle of a match, and it's unsettling. I wasn't happy that we were having to do this. It sort of knocks you off kilter. Even more so as I was trying to battle to save a backgammon. So we're still watching the remnants of this game on my phone. It's unfortunate, it's very difficult to navigate with fat fingers to the exact spot where you're trying to play. Okay, now this is Alfonso explained to him, you can't pick up his dice before he hits the clock. Hopefully he's understood. He doesn't speak great English, and this has been a problem not only in the game that we were playing, but also I've seen him have problems with other players. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy, but the things get lost in translation, and that makes things a little difficult sometimes. Right, well, I'm having to reset my phone to start recording. In it goes. Those people who don't record their matches but want to improve their games, I can't recommend recording your matches enough and then spending the time to transcribe and analyse them yourself. Don't send them off to be analysed, do them yourself. That's the best way for learning. So I now played the correct 5-1 10 minutes later, and I'm still trying to save the gammon. Or, if I can, pick up a shot. So I'm going to leave a checker there with a 6-3. I don't think I lose much by doing that. I haven't wasted any pips. 3-1. He's going to tease me by leaving them there. Bring it in sufficiently as I can. Okay, so I've got 6-4. Time to go. Hopefully I can get round in time. 5-3. Okay, 7 pips to get me in. 8 pips to save the gammon. He rolls 7 pips. I roll 7. We'll have to waste a pip. Should be alright, provided I don't roll a 2-1 now. And I'll be able to save the gammon. And the score will go to 9-3. Yes, I saved the gammon. But I am slightly on tilt after that. Wasn't happy with the TD decision. I asked for a break. So now's the time to go grab yourself another beer, coffee, whatever time of day it is. We'll be back in a few minutes, certainly 5 minutes. And for those of you that are staying listening, tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Richard Biddle. I live in the UK, in Devon. I have holiday cottages in the UK, in Devon. And I'll put links to those in the comments box if any of you guys want to come to Devon and stay locally in one of our holiday cottages. I'm always around for a game of backgammon. And I run various backgammon events in the UK, not as many as I used to. My local club is called Bish, Backgammon in South Hams. If you Google Bish Backgammon, in fact I'll put a link to it down below, you can read about that there. I run a big tournament which we did last weekend. That was the weekend after Montegrotto, the Cotswolds Backgammon and Yoga weekend. Sells out every year. It's already sold out for 2026. It was great fun. We play obviously backgammon all weekend, a lovely tournament, and also my wife, who's a yoga teacher, does yoga for traditionally the wives, but there's such a crossover now. We have the wives playing backgammon and we have the men doing yoga, so it's fun for everybody. And of course, it's a very social weekend. Again, I'll put a link to that down below. Perhaps you might, it's sold out for 2026, perhaps you might want to come 27, 28, 29, whatever. I also run the London League. It's a very popular event. I have over 130 players. It's been going since 2011. It's an individual players league, and again, I'll put a link to that. If you're London based and you know want to do a bit more than just club backgammon, there's something for you to look at, the London League. Right, I'm going to just take my microphone off for a minute and take a comfort break, I think they're called. I'll be back in a minute, I'm sure, while this break is going on. So you'll hear from me in just a second. Okay, the microphone is back on again. We're still mid-break in this match. I also run in the UK, we have a Champions League. Around the UK we have lots of leagues like the London League, regional leagues. There's about nine or 10 major ones. And the Champions League takes, a bit like the Champions League in football or soccer, is that we take the top players from all those various leagues, and it's a top 32 players, and they play off in a, I say Champions League format. When I say Champions League format, I mean Champions League as it used to be, not as it is now, with the new fandangled Swiss version that they're doing, UEFA, in all their pomp and glory. So I call it the World Cup format, and with qualifying groups and then final 16s. And that's a lot of fun. I've been fortunate enough to be able to play in that the last few years. And but I've never won it. I think I played in the final twice and lost. But that's always great fun. And it's great fun playing against the top players. Coming back to the Italian circuit, so Montegrotto was the first stop on the tour, and I'm doing this all from memory because I don't have the list in front of me. But next month, February, in the middle of February, there's a tournament in Riccione, and in March there's one in Turin. All of these I recommend. And then in the middle of the year there's one in Udine in June, which I'm really hoping I can get to. I hope I can get to all of them. And then there's also Jesolo and Milan, and they're doing one on the Amalfi Coast towards the end of the year. All these great tournaments. They do the national tournaments. They also do some local tournaments. I know we're travelling down to one in May, but I can't remember exactly where it is. But for anybody that knows me in England knows I've been banging on about how great the Italian tournaments are, and I really can't recommend them enough. Because if you lose, you get to go sit and have a coffee somewhere beautiful, eat great food, watch the world go by, and Italy's a very interesting place to watch the world go by. A lot of interesting people. I don't speak a word of Italian, but sometimes you don't need to understand the language to understand the sentiment. So a minute ago I saw myself loitering by the playing desk. So I'm hoping that my opponent comes back soon. I'm leading 9-3 in this match to 11. So my doubling strategy at 9-3. So he's 8 away. I am 2 away. Ideally, I like to get him onto odd numbers. I should really be going for an undouble gammon, but I don't want to be taking too much risk, because generally when you play for gammons, you are risking more gammons yourself, and if the cube has been turned, that's very efficient for your opponent who's 8 away. So I don't really want to be in the situation where I double the cube, he takes and throws it back on 4, and then I lose a gammon. That's the match lost. So my strategy here is play on for an undouble gammon and then look to double him out. Not double him in, but double him out if the gammon looks like it's going away. On the other hand, I think my opponent's strategy at 8 away, 2 away will be, he'll know that I'll be taking quite a few cubes. My take point's quite low, I think. Let's see, what is it? My take point's, no, it's not that low. It's about 30, it's 31%, almost 32%. So it's almost like being 3 away, 3 away for me. Whereas he's got a very low take point. His take point starts at 14%. And in fact, he can double at 44%. So I've got to be quite cautious and really go for the undouble gammon. Okay, there I am in the background, waiting for my opponent, hoping he's not far. I'm sure I mentioned the thermal waters in Montegrotto. First time I ever went, I've been 3 times now, first time I ever went, I didn't really know about thermal pools and thermal waters, and I wasn't in the slightest bit interested. It all went over my head. But as we went down there, we read more about it, and you know, this is a whole town, and all their swimming pools, and that's what they are, swimming pools, are heated by the water that comes from the earth. So there's no artificial heating. This is the naturally hot water that comes up, and it's like a bathtub. It's warm, it's hot, and this water it's full of minerals and nutrients. So it's not like, you know, London water that's gone through the system 7 times. This is natural groundwater, full of good stuff, and you come out feeling really invigorated. Okay, here comes my opponent. I think you're fed up at me talking about spring water, but by the way, all I can say is give it a go. Come to Montegrotto next time and bob in the pool once you've been knocked out. It's very satisfying. And they've got lots of jet springs in them and stuff, so to give your tired old backgammon aching shoulders a good pummeling. Right, here we go. 9-3. I'm 2 points away from victory. All I've got to do is bring it home, preferably with an undoubled gammon. 6-5. Yeah, so there goes my gammon wishes out the window as he escapes on with a 6-5. Oh, well, I'll give it a go. Give it a go with double 5s. Oh, he dances. Okay, gammon go. Let's do this. Bring some checkers down. So I want to make a point. There you go. And 4-1, still dances. I need to bring some more ammunition down. Not throw my dice on the floor. Okay, 2 down. Bang. So I've got some extra ammunition. I've now got 10 checkers sort of in the zone. That's a cocked dice. So we need him to dance one more time, and then I can... All right, he's in with a 5, but ugly one to play. But I'm hitting with, you know, I've got 4s, 2s, and 5s that hit. Plus double 1 isn't such a bad hit. So I'm hitting loose with everything here. Oh, but I don't hit. All right, okay. Just play it safe. So this is this looks like a good position for me, and I win a lot of the time, but I am going to have difficulty getting those back checkers back. He's going to make his board. He's got a 5 to play. He should play it down. Yeah, because it's only double 2s really, double 1s, double 4s that affect that one. Oh, double 1s, that's handy. Isn't that handy? Okay. Right, let's do this. Hopefully he'll dance. No, he doesn't. But I'm not going to turn the cube here. I've got to go for there you go, double 1. Okay. So, obviously I've got a hit. How do I do this though? Hit. Now, do I play 4-2 or do I do that, hoping to make the point later? 4-2. Amazingly, I found this play. It's the right play, but I don't know. Looking at it today, I would have probably made, just played 4-2, but I've made the right play. But here I make the wrong play. The right play is playing 2 down, so you've got ammunition to cover that. But I go for the mild play, and I sort of blow it. I should have been going for it because I was going for the gammon. But actually, he would have hit me twice with the 4-6, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't. And okay, so he's now thinking about the cube. So, is he going to double this? He probably knows I've got a high take point. He doubles me, I take. and it's in fact it's only just a double. Well, no, in fact it's not a double according to XG, but I think it's right to double here. It's so I've just got to try and get this now. Do I come out with a 2-5, or do I hit? If I hit, maybe that increases my gammon chances, but maybe I shouldn't be doing that. It's wrong to do it. I get away with it. Got to get that guy out. Right, so have I got a chance? No, he hits me with a 4. Whoa. Right, it's fast and furious now. And really here, he should be spreading his builders around the back of the field. But I guess what he's worried about is being hit. So the correct play here is 21, 15, 13, 10. But he just hates the idea of leaving me a direct shot. And who can blame him? So he's gone for this point-making play, just leaving me indirect shots. And I've got an awkward 5-1 to play now. And again, he's very nervous about my 5-point home board. But let's not forget, I've got a checker stuck on his ace point. And if I did hit him, at least he's coming in on the 4-point and not, one of the earlier points. Here he's thinking about leaving the fewest number of shots because he's so worried about my board, yet so behind in the race. And actually, the checker on my 4-point is a liability for me. I've got to play in against it and try and get that checker out the back. So he's actually in better shape here than he probably thinks he's in. Well, he's having a good long think about it. He's got a few options, but he's not looking at any of them. If he's doing a pip count, you'll see that he's about 28 pips behind before the play. Quite often in this position, it's not a bad idea to just see what each position looks like. But he goes for that play, and that's the blunder. He should have played 13, 8, 6, 4. Right, double 5s. I can't escape the back checker, but I bring all those checkers in. I spread them on the home board. Easier for the bear off. He now builds the 4.5-point prime, which would be the correct play to do. Again, making it tricky for me to try and escape. I'm ahead in the race, but I am trapped behind that developing prime. I'm only going to hit him with 2, 6, 3, 5 here. Double 4s, well, I want to keep that spare checker outside, I think. Turns out to be the correct play. 6-2. Well, he just got to bring the builders down and hope he can make some home board points. And hope I don't escape, of course. I don't escape, but I bring one checker up, just in case I can sneak out. He's at will to hit me loose, really, because he's I've got no board. But this is a tricky one. Does he make the 9 point and stop my escaping sixes, or does he make the 4 point? That's really the big decision for him here. And then, of course, if he does decide to make the 9 point, does he play 6-1, or does he attack with 8-3, knowing that gammons are of value to him? And that, okay, so he's blocked my sixes. I can't play there. 4-5. Well, this is tricky, because, you know, ordinarily you just point on there. Surely that's got to be right. Surely that's got to be right. What else is he thinking? 7-3, 6-1. Well, it keeps his 5 point prime intact. I dance. I'm still ahead in the race at this stage. So if I can get in, still dancing. So he brings them both in, and he can start veering off. Okay, so suddenly the race is about level. I come in. Right. He rolls a double six. Okay, well, this looks like it could be over. I've got to do some rather exceptional rolling if I'm going to get out of there. 2-1. There you go. Bang. Fantastic. Do I stay? Yeah, I may as well go. I'm not really going to get a shot, or more importantly, retain a shot. He rolls 3-1, so, oh, double six. Okay, puts me back in the game. Take 2 off. I'm not that far behind. He's got a gap on his 4 point, and I've got a lot of working doubles here. All the doubles work for me, even double threes, which only takes 3 off, because that would leave me with an even number. 5-3 off. Again, okay, so that gap on the 4 point has hurt him. I need to roll big here, though. I need a good number. 4-2, well, that's not the big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm off in 5, so I need to roll doubles here. I need to roll some doubles. No. Okay, that's the first set of doubles. So he's off in 2 rolls, most of the time. 4-2, no, it's okay. The gap on the 4 has hurt him again. He's now off in 2 rolls. I could be off in 2 rolls. So I need 1 double here in the next 2 rolls. And there it is. Double 4s. Well, I have been lucky in this match. And now all I need to do is to avoid Airat rolling a double 2 or above in his final roll, and I win the match. 4-3. Well, thank you. Hand comes across for the handshake, and I go through to the next round. PR-wise, I played at 6.6 6-7. Airat played at 7. Not our greatest performances, but it was a tough match, and I was just happy to be lucky to get through. Thank you very much for listening.